I mean, obviously, we'll start with the Broncos, who handled the Bengals quite easily. I mean, the Broncos did a lot of things well in this game, notably running the ball.
Yeah.
But, Chris, it just feels like everything is hard for the Bengals right now. It's not just Jake Browning, obviously, but it's like Jake Browning starting is exposing how much Joe Burrow can keep the ship afloat on his own.
I'm glad you're saying that. I actually was just talking about this with Matt Casey, producer, a little bit before you even walked in here. I was like, I feel like the Bengals are actually more the story than the Broncos. Just in the fact that, I mean, it's abysmal. It's pitiful. It's like there's no chance either side of the ball. And you're exactly right. I mean, at first I went, well, this will be a little bit of an excuse for Zach Taylor to go, hey, Joe Burrow's hurt. So, that's why we're not as good. But for the way they have looked, I would go, no, this is actually now going to a point where we're going, wow, Joe Burrow covered that many holes? Right. Like, we're not even capable of being competitive in a football game, and it isn't for Jacksonville just screwing things up in a second half of a game. They'd be 1-3 and looking horrible. Right, that's to me to where it looks more than anything. And that's where I think Zach Taylor and company got to be a little scared because they're showing right now that what's the value that they're adding to the team? I mean, nothing. The coaches are adding no value to the team. What we're seeing and what we're thinking right now is that, man, Joe Burrow and his ability to execute that offense to perfection and then also make plays that are above and beyond what the playbook delivers. And, of course, the two receivers that go along with it, they're the ones hiding everything. Yep. They're the ones making the whole thing go. And I think that's where the Cincinnati Bengals got to be careful is they're going to get on the hot seat if this continues because people are going to go, oh, my gosh, we didn't realize this was so bad and you guys aren't capable of doing anything unless Joe Burrow's here. That's at least my first thought, so I'm right there with you, Connor.
Completely. Just an uncompetitive game. The Bengals were outgained by 574 yards in their last two games. That is the worst two-game differential in their franchise history. 8 of the 10 drives have gained 15 yards or less. I mean, it's just uncompetitive football. And you talk about one of the best players in the NFL, Jamar Chase. There's just nothing going. I mean, 8 targets, 5 catches, 23 yards. It's the fourth fewest receiving yards by Chase in a game in his career.
Yeah, I've never been in love with their offense.
Right.
I've liked their offense in the fact that, when it's at its best, Burrow knows how to be surgical within it. And what I've liked when I've given their offense praise is that there is a point in the year when they are functioning at a high level with Joe Burrow that they get to a point where I think they're good at breaking teams down a little bit, and then they can package their plays right together and go, Joe will get us in the right play. This team either blitzes or plays cover 4. Joe will get us in the blitz play if they're going to blitz, and we got a good cover 4 play, right, if they don't blitz and they play cover 4. And that's where Joe was great. But that's, to me, the greatness of their offense. I don't ever look at it, and I've never looked at it and gone, oh, wow, it's really unbelievably creative. It's basic West Coast-ish. I think you've heard me say that before. Right. And, basic West Coast-ish is just not always going to get it done unless you have some special players. Now, they have the special receivers, but they don't have the special quarterback to go with that. And you're seeing against a defense like Sean Payton, who, of course, knows the West Coast, and a guy like Vance Joseph, who's been around forever, they're like basic West Coast. If you're just going to throw that at us, we know a lot of these rules just as good as you guys do. And I think you're seeing that. And it's just, it's pitiful. And I hear people go, well, maybe they'll trade for Russell Wilson. What's that going to do? Tell me what that's going to do. He's going to come in and learn an offense, and a guy that's very conservative and doesn't really work his system anyways and is known for that, he's going to come in and what? They're just going to go, oh, he can throw the moon ball.
Appease the receiver.
Yeah,
that's what people are thinking.
And the teams are just going to go, hey, let's leave Jamar Chase outside one-on-one so Russell can throw the moon ball. No. I mean, there's more issues than that. But, yeah, it is bad on both sides of the ball in Cincinnati.
So the combo seems to be around Jake Browning as much as there's more to this roster and this team, and you nailed it with the coaching. 2 years ago when Burrow was injured, Browning went 4-3 in his 7 starts.
Right.
What do you think is different this time around where it's not that they're losing, because I think a lot of people would pick them to lose. They were 7.5-point underdogs in this game.
Yep.
It's just that it's non-competitive football, Chris.
Yeah, right. It's. I think the thing that I would say is different is when he took over a few years ago, and still it wasn't perfect, but it was good. It was better than what people expected. So they're right within that. Right, I think everybody was like, whoa, they blew it out of the water. Right, they were just like, wow, this is amazing. But off of that, what's different there is that was later in the season, where the team got a chance to function and was starting to function at kind of a high level with Burrow. And then, okay, Burrow got out. He got hurt, and now he takes over. And it's like, wait, the team is playing pretty good right now. So he got to be able that. Right now, they're in they were 2-1 going into the game last night, but they were outplayed in all 3 games they had played, right, to that point, in my opinion. The Browns game, even though they won that, they were outplayed. They were outplayed in the Jacksonville game, and we know they were demolished, the last week up in Minnesota.
Yep.
So with all of that, right, they're still in this kind of early season finding their way, and I think we've been tricked by the record. But the quality of play, if you just watched the quality of play and didn't know the scoreboard, I think, of the Cincinnati Bengals the last few weeks, you'd sit there and go, oh, they're 0-2 or 0-3 to start the season again. I mean, it's not like it was like you're blown out of the water by how they performed against the Browns or the Jaguars. And, of course, the last two games is absolutely pitiful. So I think that, to me, is probably the difference. And the defense was a little bit better then than it is right now. That's the other thing, too.
With Lou Anarumo.
Yeah, with Lou Anarumo, not last year, but the year before that, and when Jake Browning did take over, right? It was the year before that.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah,
yep.
That defense was, I'm not going to say it was great, but it wasn't what it is right now, where it's like, whoa, you can do anything you want on their defense right now, and Al Golden's trying to figure out how to make it work with his scheme and the personnel they got, and you could see it's just a disaster right now.
And I think with a backup quarterback, you have to be able to play on some kind of run script. And the defense has them in a throw script all the time, and they're not good enough running the ball anyway.
No, they're not. They're not.
So
exactly
like we could say what we want about Browning, who is not playing well. Nobody's hiding that, but they also can't play in a backup quarterback script to set him up for success.
They don't seem to be able to play any other way other than, hey, can Joe Burrow just surgically pick us apart? Can Joe Burrow go 31 of 38 for 305 and 4 touchdowns? And if he can't do that, wait, what's our other avenue of winning? Oh, wait, we don't have one, and that's where we are. Now, they also played a Denver team that we know has got some talent, and I think better than their 1-2, right? They could easily be 3-0 going into last night, or 4-0 as we sit here right now. They went to toe-to-toe and messed it up against the Indianapolis Colts. They went toe-to-toe with the Chargers. I'm not going to say they messed it up, but they had chances to control that football game too, right? So they were a team that was possessed last night, and also I think seeing the blood in the water a little bit and going, hey, this team sucks.
We're going to roll
attack and let's be aggressive, and they did it the right way. They were aggressive on offense, and on defense they went, hey, you might have heard the guys announce, and Troy and Joe Buck said it last night. They're playing a little more conservative tonight. They're not blitzing because they were like, the only way they beat us is if Jamar Chase just goes deep.
Right.
One-on-one. If T. Higgins goes deep. And they have a good enough front four that they shouldn't have to blitz as much as they did the first few weeks. I think they were over-aggressive the first few weeks. That was my takeaway, and I think I said that to you on a few of the pods. They gotta chill out a little bit. There's enough talent there on that team to where they don't need to take as many schematical chances on the defensive side of the ball as they were taking. So I'm interested to see what they do going forward. But obviously, they totally shut down that Bengals offense. And then the Broncos offense, like you talked about, looked pretty damn good. And Bo Nix, to me, continues to look good, physically good. It's not perfect yet, but I like the way Bo Nix looks.
That was going to be my next question. I think the story around Bo Nix the first 3 weeks is he was just leaving throws on the field that you expect him to make. So. Did you see some kind of turning point last night?
There were still a few throws.
Yeah.
I think, he had the R.J. Harvey throw up the seam, right? Do you remember that? Yeah. He came out of the backfield, like the old Kansas City Chiefs Kareem Hunt play. He runs up the seam. Maybe R.J. Harvey could have caught it, but it's like, no, it's a running back. You got to put it right on him. You can't miss that. The interception, I feel like there's been a few throws in every game where I just go, it's a hair too aggressive. I like aggressive. I'm all for let's throw it down the field. But also, in every game so far, I feel like he's made a mistake a little bit out of over-aggressiveness. Even week 1 against the Titans where they won that football game. There was a few turnovers in that one where I was like, it's just we don't need to fit that ball into the window at this moment. So that would be my only concern with him. But the thing I do like is, of course, he's extremely comfortable in the pocket. I don't know about you, but his arm, I think he's got a pretty damn strong arm.
He does. It's stronger than I thought it would be when I first ever watched him.
Yeah, sure. I know.
It's definitely stronger than I expected because he's not the biggest guy.
No, right. He's not. But he's letting it go, and he's throwing with authority.
Yes.
And you could tell at the very least, even when he's aggressive, it's like he likes it, and he's going to let it rip. He's not, second-guessing himself. And I think other stuff will get fixed as we go forward. But if they get the run game going, and they can get R.J. Harvey going. I mean, Dobbins was impressive, don't get me wrong, but I really do like R.J. Harvey and some of the things he can bring to the table. If they get that going, that'll be huge for them, because then that can open up Sean Payton's play-action playbook to a whole different level.
The next two for Denver, they're at Philadelphia. Then they play the Jets in London the following week. For the Bengals, Chris, I think everybody's wondering, is this ever going to get better? Their next two is home against Detroit, who's on a warpath right now, and then they go to Green Bay. So, like, while you sit there and look at, okay, Brian Flores and Vance Joseph, kind of a tough test for Jake Browning, I don't think these next two teams are any layups.
No, they're not layups. I mean, we know Detroit's still really damn good.
They're out
defense,
to kill right now.
And they're out to kill. Like, they take more chances. They're going to play aggressive. And the bad thing about when you play the Cincinnati Bengals and when they play Detroit, it's going to be like, they're going to score 60. So you guys going to be able to keep pace with that?
Right.
Because, I mean, the way the Bengals – what are the Bengals going to stop on the Detroit Lions offense? And maybe the same thing with the Green Bay Packers the week after.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Green Bay could score 60.
I mean, I would think, and I have no idea because I don't look at lines early in the week, but I would think the Lions line right now over the Bengals has got to be rivaling the highest point spread of what we saw from the Saints-Bills last week.
I think it opened at 10 the last time I
looked.
Holy
shit, well, jump on it now.
And I was shocked too. I actually thought it would be a 2-touchdown spread.
Jump on it, hurry.
That could be one where, and it's still at 10.
Wow.
Now.
That would be something I would jump on. But yeah, I of course, I don't see any silver lining for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Broncos, I do. The Broncos, of course, I think are a really good football team. You know, there's a point to me, and this is why I said the run game's got to get going, where I feel like maybe they miss one other big-time weapon on their offensive side of the ball, right? Just a guy, again, who can take a slant and go to the house or beat you over the top. Like, I know Cortland Sutton can beat you over the top from time to time, but he's not a blazer.
No.
You know, Marvin Mims has some capabilities of doing that stuff, but they got to get him the ball in space a little bit there. So maybe one of these guys jumps up and becomes that guy, and hopefully last night was kind of the start of that, because there is potential there. It's just like, wait, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Franklin? Is it going to be R.J. Harvey? They need somebody else to step up with Sutton, and then the run game, and then you go, uh-oh, now they got something there in Denver. I'm still a believer in the Broncos and the Eagles. Yeah, they're going to give the Eagles, I would think, problems. It's going to be a tight football game. I expect that to be close on Sunday. Yo, homies, it's time to watch some games. That's right. We're on to the NFL season here with Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, Sunday night recaps after every game, and much, much more.
Thanks for watching. Peace out, homies. Remember, subscribe. Peace out.